He took me around and showed me some of the trees that he had planted. And he said to me, you see these trees which were maybe 10 feet, 12 feet? I'll never see them big enough. My children won't. My grandchildren maybe, but my great-grandchildren will. And he turned around and he said, you see that one? It's going to make a good canoe. That was the unwritten constitution of the future. That gentleman impacted me for the rest of my life as much as my father did. We're based here in Santa Barbara. We have offices in France, Italy, and in Brazil. But the reason why we're here is because this is a very special, privileged place on the planet. And we're taking it, most of us, for granted. And I don't mean you necessarily, because what do we have? 4, 5, maybe 300 people here? I know you're all convinced. What about the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people out there who are still, you know, business as usual? We need a wake-up call. We got the wake-up call. Yeah. And the wake-up call is not just what has happened 40 years ago here, when I came in 1968. The following year, we had the catastrophe. 21 years ago, I was at the Exxon Valdez. I did a 1-hour special for television. 8 years ago, I was at the Prestige off the coast of Spain. And here we are now with the Gulf, where you have every 4 days that we know of, there is an Exxon Valdez being outpoured in the ocean.
Yeah.
We are on day 68. So you can calculate how many Exxon Valdez have already been going out there, and it's still going on now. With our team, we went out there twice, about a month ago and about 2.5 weeks ago, and we're going back on Tuesday. We are there to help. We are there to make a difference. We are there to keep looking in those stress faces of tens of thousands of people along the coastline who are, for a very long time, going to have to deal with this. And when you go back to the Exxon Valdez in Alaska, now, you can still see the effect of what it had 21 years ago on the people, on the environment. We are spoiling and exhausting and damaging our life support system, which happens to be the ocean. And whether you live in Santa Barbara or you live up on top of a mountain, you're dependent on that environment. When you're going skiing, you're skiing on the ocean. Next time you have a drink of water, you're drinking the ocean. We're all connected and we all depend on the ocean for our quality of life. We are adding 100 million people to the planet every year. There are 6.7 billion now, which is about the amount of profit that BP makes every quarter. And we also, in this very great, wonderful country, consume 25% of the world's energy, when we are 5% of the world's population. There's a lot we can do. But I know you're doing it, or you will do it, but we need ambassadors. We need people who are going to take that message out there and change. We need change. Enough blah blah. And what is happening in the Gulf today, is giving us a unique opportunity for change. And that has to happen, and not just in the United States, but it has to happen worldwide. Because you know that oil that is outpouring every 4 days, one Exxon Valdez, not only is destroying the marine life, but the dispersant that has been put in there is destroying the water column. from the plankton all the way up to the things we become very emotional about, birds and marine mammals and so on. What about everything else, which we don't see? And if you look at how the water system functions, it's going to come out of the Gulf, it's going to go into the Caribbean, it's going to be picked up by the Gulf Stream, and not only will it affect part of the eastern coast of the United States, but it's going to go all the way up to the northern Atlantic, and as the Gulf Stream works, it's going to go to England, it's going to go to France, it's going to go to Spain, it's going to go to Portugal. That is what's going to happen. And of course, it's going to affect all those people all over the place, and our life support system by the same occasion. So our recommendation is that we request from our decision makers, whether it's government or industries, to accept the fact that we need to have an international commission which will be in charge without any impact from the industries or money, any impact from the political system, left, right, center, it really doesn't matter, and have the ability to make sure that we do prevention, 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 and in case of an accident, because we make mistakes and sometimes we have accidents, we have plan A, B, C, just like we do with the space program, in case of an accident. We can do it.
Yeah.
We need to do it, and we will do it. And if you need any kind of energy, look in the eyes of a little kid. Look in the eyes of a little kid. Are you going to let them down? No. We have the ability to make a difference. I had the pleasure or the privilege of being on CNN this morning. I'll be back next week. We are leaving for the Gulf. We are going to communicate with our decision makers. We are not pointing fingers. We all in the same bed. We all on the same planet. We all need to learn from those who have learned from nature how to manage, how to literally make sure we live in that magic word we all call sustainability. Planet can be looked, and I'm sorry if it doesn't sound very romantic, should be looked like you look at a business. We need to manage it as a business. We need to live off the interests that is produced by the business, and we can go on for a long time. The minute we start to gobble up the capital, which is what we're doing now, we're heading toward bankruptcy. And we don't want to go there. And we won't go there. Those decision makers have families, they have children, they are like us, there's no difference. We need to sit down with them, we need to make them realize how much we can change and what we need to do. And I'm back in the Amazon, where my father, in 1983, as we had to release a giant river otter which we had saved from dying and made sure that she was going to be taken care of by one of the local people, he looked at me as we departed very emotionally because we got very attached to this giant river otter. And he looked at me after we saw her leaving, and he said, "You know, Jean-Michel, people protect what they love. We can do it, and we will do it, but you are the ambassadors to carry on the message out there to those who are not listening or do not know, do not understand, because how can you protect what you don't understand? We can make sure they understand, and we can protect our life support system." Thank you.
Woo!